Hello all, this is Preeti Kedari, Assistant Professor in Electronics, Arihant College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Pune. Today I am going to explain you about first year BSc Computer Science Electronics course, that is Semiconductor Devices and Basic Electronic Systems. Chapter 1, Semiconductor Diodes, and the topic we are going to cover today is semiconductors. The agenda of the presentation is introduction, energy band diagrams, semiconductors, covalent bond and types of semiconductors. Introduction. Now whenever we are considering the solids, then solids are divided into three different subcategories, that is conductors, semiconductors and insulators. Conductors are those substances which easily allow the passage of electric current through them. It is because there are a large number of electrons available in a conductor, for example, copper, aluminium, etc. Insulators are those substances which do not allow the passage of electric current through them, for example, wood, glass, paper, etc. Now, if we consider the semiconductors are those substances whose electrical conductivity lies between conductors and insulators. It means that they can be work as conductor or they can work as insulator in different conditions. For example, silicon, germanium, etc. The, the next topic is energy bands. Though there are a number of energy bands in solids, the following are of particular importance. Valence band. The range of energies, that means the band possessed by valence electrons, is known as valence band. The electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom are known as valence electrons. In a normal atom, valence band has the electrons of highest energy. This band may be completely or partially filled. For instance, in case of inert gases, the valence band is full, whereas for other materials, it is only partially filled. The partially filled band can accommodate more electrons. The next band is conduction band. The range of energy possessed by conduction band electrons is known as conduction electrons. All electrons in the conduction band are free electrons. If a substance has empty conduction band, it means current conduction is not possible in that substance. Insulators has empty conduction band. On the other hand, it is partially filled for the conductors. Now, if we consider the general material or any material, then all the electrons at the present temperature are present in the valence band, and whenever we are going to give any energy to the electrons, then they go into the conduction band. Then we may say that the current conduction is possible in the material. Next is forbidden energy gap. The separation between conduction band and valence band on energy level diagram is known as forbidden energy gap. So as we have seen, we have valence band and conduction band. So the energy gap which is there in between the conduction band and the valence band is known as forbidden energy gap. No electron of a solid can stay in a forbidden energy gap, as there is no allowed energy states in this region. The width of forbidden energy gap is a measure of the bandage of valence electrons in the atom. The greater the energy gap, more tightly the valence electrons are bound to the nucleus. In order to push an electron from valence band to the conduction band, external energy equal to the forbidden energy gap must be supplied. Then only it is possible for an electron to jump from the valence band to the conduction band. Energy band diagrams. Now as we have seen, we have insulators, conductors and semiconductors. We have studied about the conduction band as well as valence band, and also about the energy gap, that is the forbidden energy gap. So here in this slide you can see the different energy band diagrams. Coming to the first diagram in insulators. So we can see that the valence band is full while the conduction band is empty. So, the energy gap between the valence and conduction bands is very large, which is approximately 15 electron volt. In the diagram, you may see that the valence band and conduction band, they are separated with a different energy gap. Next is conductors. In conductors, the valence band and conduction bands overlap each other. Due to this overlapping, a slight potential difference across a conductor causes the free electrons to constitute electric current. In the diagram you can see the conduction band and the valence band, they are overlapping each other. So it is very much easy for electrons to flow through the conductors, and therefore conductors are a good conductor of electricity as well as heat. Next is semiconductor. We have already studied about the semiconductor, that they belong the properties of insulators as well as conductors in different circumstances. So in semiconductors the valence band is almost filled and conduction band is almost empty. Further, the energy gap between valence and conduction bands is very small, which is approximately 1 electron volt. In the diagram, we can easily see that the difference between the energy band diagram of insulator, conductor and semiconductor, the difference between the conduction band and the valence band, that is the forbidden energy gap between the conduction and the valence band. And from the diagram one can easily say that whether the material belongs to insulators, conductors or semiconductors. Next important topic is semiconductors. A semiconductor is a substance whose conductivity lies between conductor and insulator. In other words, the resistivity of conductor is less than that of insulator, but it is more than that of a conductor. Semiconductors have negative temperature coefficient of a resistance. When a suitable metallic impurity is added to a semiconductor, its current conducting properties change appreciably. Next is bonds in semiconductors. The atoms of every element are held together by the bonding action of valence electrons. This bonding is due to the fact that it is the tendency of each atom to complete its last orbit by acquiring 8 electrons in its last orbit. We can say it as inert atoms. To do so, the atom may lose, gain or share valence electrons with other atoms. In semiconductors, bonds are formed by sharing of valence electrons. Such bonds are called as covalent bonds. In the formation of covalent bond, each atom contributes equal number of valence electrons, and the contributed electrons are shared by the nucleus engaged in the formation of the bond. For example, germanium, it has atomic number equal to 32. Germanium has 32 electrons. So, if we see the different shells, first orbit has 2 electrons, second orbit has 8 electrons, third orbit has 18 electrons, and the fourth orbit has 4 electrons. As we have seen previously, for an atom to become stable, it requires total 8 electrons. That means in germanium it needs more 4 electrons to become stable. So instead of gaining or losing those 4 electrons, it will share those 4 electrons with the next germanium atom. So we can say that from the above discussion, germanium has 4 valence electrons. It is the tendency of each germanium atom to have 8 electrons in the last orbit. To do so, each germanium atom positions itself between 4 other germanium atoms. Each neighboring atom shares 1 valence electron with the central atom. Covalent bonds. Following points must be noted in terms of covalent bonds. Covalent bonds are formed by sharing of valence electrons. In the formation of covalent bond, each valence electron of an atom forms direct bond with the valence electron of an adjacent atom. In other words, valence electrons are not free in the semiconductor. Here in the animation you can see that we have the silicon atom. As we have seen, there are 4 electrons in the outermost shell of each semiconductor. So these 4 electrons get paired with the neighboring atoms to form the covalent bond. Next is types of semiconductors. First is intrinsic semiconductor. Semiconductor in its pure form is called intrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductor. The intrinsic semiconductor has little current conduction capability at room temperature. To be useful in electric devices, small amount of suitable impurity needs to be added in intrinsic semiconductor. Then it is known as extrinsic semiconductor. We can say that the semiconductor in impure form or the doped semiconductor is known as extrinsic semiconductor. The process of adding impurities to a semiconductor is called doping. Depending upon the type of impurities added, extrinsic semiconductors are classified as N-type semiconductor, P-type semiconductor. Now, N-type semiconductor. When a small amount of pentavalent impurity is added to pure semiconductor, it is known as N-type semiconductor. In addition of pentavalent impurity provides a large number of free electrons in the semiconductor crystal. For example, arsenic, antimony, etc. Impurities which produce N-type semiconductor are known as donor impurities because they donate free electrons to the semiconductor crystal. If you go through the arsenic or the antimony, then these are pentavalent impurities. That means in the valence band, or we can say that in the valency of arsenic or antimony is 5. That means whenever they are going to form with bonds with the silicon atom, the 4 outermost electrons from arsenic, they are forming the bond with the silicon atom, and 1 electron we are getting free for the conduction, and therefore these impurities are known as donors. P-type semiconductor. When a small amount of trivalent impurity is added to a pure semiconductor, it is known as P-type semiconductor. The addition of trivalent impurity provides a large number of holes in the semiconductor crystal. For example, gallium, indium. So if we consider these two materials, the outermost shell contains only 3 electrons. Impurities which produce p-type semiconductor are known as acceptor impurities because the holes created accept free electrons. Here holes is nothing but the positive charges, that means absence of electron is known as holes. P-type semiconductor. You can see in the diagrams, when a small amount of trivalent impurity is added, then there exists a large number of holes in the crystal. This is because 3 valence electrons can form only 3 covalent bonds with 3 neighboring atoms. In the 4th covalent bond, germanium contributes 1 valence electron while boron has no valence electron to contribute. Boron is also a trivalent impurity. In other words, 4th bond is incomplete, being short of 1 electron. This missing electron is called a hole. So here we have covered the semiconductor types of solids, that is insulators, semiconductors and conductors, the energy band diagrams, different types of semiconductors, that is intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor, and also 2 different types of extrinsic semiconductors, that are N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductors. Here I have given some of the references. Thank you so much.